Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nerd to the Third Power, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy and awesome. I am your host and master of ceremonies, Dr. Gonzo, and with me, as always, in this epic quest of awesomeness and looking rather tan from her recent trip is the Cat. Cat, how are you doing today?
Aw, you're so generous to call me tan, because I am the whitest white person to ever white.
Well, I didn't think you'd appreciate me pointing out your massive sunburns.
Thank
to
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
I
will never be the same.
I'm going to be honest. When I walked in the office, I thought that someone was cooking bacon, but it just turned out to be your sunburn.
No, I didn't even get burned in California, amazingly. But I did spend a week in beautiful sunny California, visiting a family member, actually quite a few family members. Who knew that my family was so prolific over there? Both on both of my parents' side. It's really strange. So I had a wonderful time visiting family, seeing some friends who happened to work at Disneyland and could get me in for free because my friends are awesome.
All right, sounds good. And how was your holiday?
Well, it was a long time ago now. Terrible. I guess it was okay, but my work is trying to kill me right now. Wow, I'm really tired and stressed always. And plus, I'm actually back working as a director for Anime St. Louis, so I'm really, really busy all the time now, and I kind of hate it.
Oh, boy.
Shh, don't tell everyone, just keep it amongst us and all 5 of you great listeners.
Gone back into that hellhole, huh? Okay, all right.
I'm running my department now, so that's really cool. But on the other hand, it is a lot of work and a lot of responsibility that I never wanted. So it is what it is.
All right. Okay. Well, we got a good show for you guys tonight. It's our first show back for 2018, the first of many. So we kind of do things a little bit different. We kind of have to do kind of a State of the Union thing. But then for the back half of the show, we're going to be discussing Voltron Season 5, which, holy shit. That pretty much sums up the whole of Season 5, is holy shit the season, because there's a lot of heavy anvils getting dropped this season. A lot of big revelations.
Anvils is that's basically what it is.
Yeah, I think there was only like one episode this whole season where when the credits started rolling, I didn't go like, oh, shit's about to get real! So, but of course, there, the first show of the year, there is kind of a State of the Union address that we have to give. So, my fellow nerds. So I guess the first question to answer is, where the fuck have we been? And the answer to that is sort of tied in with everything else that's going to be discussed in this address. So I guess I'll just put my cards on the table because, we're one of those shows who we like to share with our listeners. We like to share our lives, our hopes, our dreams.
Sharing is caring.
Our hopes, our dreams, our sexual fetishes. I like being slathered in cream cheese.
Please never speak ever again.
But longtime listeners who've been with us for a while will know that I occasionally get these depressive episodes where I just kind of just shut down. And I had a rather big one of those after the turn of the year, and a lot of things sort of contributed to that. A couple of things relating to the show, and a couple of things just relating to my general life situation. I'm pretty sure I've dropped hints here and there as to what's been going on behind the scenes with me on the show. But the basic gist of it is that, last year I lost the apartment that I was living in. I was renting a place from my mom and my stepdad, and then my stepdad decided to run out on my mom. Yay! And he got the condo in the divorce. So now I'm back living with my mom, and I've got a plan to save up money to pay for a house, to get a place of my own, to just put a down payment down. But there's a sort of habit that not just I have, but that everybody in my family has, where if we're trying to save up for something, we kind of do that to the exclusion of everything else. And I worked out a plan where I could save a good chunk of money, but also still have, a good deal of spending cash to, to do stuff that I want to do. But then, anytime I went out to go and do something that I want to do with that spending cash, which again, I'd set aside specifically for me to use, I'd start feeling guilty. I'd be like, do I really need to go out and do this? I should be saving money for my house payment. I really shouldn't be doing this. So I was like, all right, that's it. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to go home and just like lie in bed and hate myself. And my mother, God love her, she wants what's best for me. She's doing her best to help me, but she's not in this area. She's not really helpful at all because, she'd get on me just like, I'd order something from Amazon and it'd come in. She's like, why are you ordering all this stuff from Amazon? Why are you spending all this money? And it just contributed to that to the point where I just got so, bummed and out of it that like I would just spend whole days in bed. And I'm just like, this isn't healthy. I need to go see my therapist again. So, I went to go see my therapist and I told her everything that was going on. And she was like, you're right. You're not in a healthy position right now. And the thing is like there's no reason for you to be in this position because you have this plan to save money and still be able to do stuff. And you're not dipping into your savings for your house savings. You're just using your spending cash. So, you need to go out there and you need to do stuff that you enjoy and get yourself back out into the world. So, long story short, I took about $1,500 out of my spending cash fund and went on a huge retro game collecting binge. So, I've gotten back into collecting retro games on the regular again, and that's really, got me back into the groove of things. I actually spent most of last week actually cleaning my old NES collection, a bunch of Sharpie, and it was rough work, and my hands are going to stink of bleach for the next couple weeks. But it left me feeling better than I have in a very long time. So you're gonna start seeing me be a little more active on the Facebook, just sort of as a way of keeping myself honest and keeping myself in a good space. You're gonna start seeing me on the Facebook sharing photos and stuff of my adventures as I go out retro collecting or things that I do to kind of maintain or add to my collection. So yeah, that'll be kind of therapy for me. So I invite you to join me on this emotional journey. The other thing that sort of contributed to that, and this is more dealing with the podcast itself, is we've had a couple of staffing shakeups. As I mentioned back in December, Brian, who Karma has finally decided to look his way. He's been gunning for this position in his company for a long time where he would get to go traveling and open up a bunch of new locations for his company. And the company finally looked and was like, oh, whoa, this guy has got a good head on his shoulders. He actually shows up. He walks upright. He breathes. He knows what he's doing. Let's give him the job. And we're both really super stoked and happy for him. But the downside for that is that for a stretch of about a year, he's not able to be on the show just because of his schedule. Now, he's not leaving the team. He's not leaving the show. Let's just get that right out of the gate. In fact, he actually has plans that he's drawn up and that I'm working on him with to still be participatory with Nerd of the Third Power and our overall plan of stuff. We really need to come up with a name for our 5-year plan, don't we?
Plan of stuff is our level of dumb. No, that's us. Yeah.
Plan of seat of our pants. Step 1, buy more pants.
God. No, I literally tore a hole in my jeans today, again at work, which makes it like the 4th time. In like a year.
You're the first person I know who's actually managed to tear a hole in jeans. Aren't they supposed to be like indestructible?
Yeah, that's why we have to wear jeans, because I work in a place where you can like get hurt and shit. And they're like, wear jeans. And I'm like, okay. And then girls' jeans are made of like the thinnest denim that they could possibly make. So yeah, I've ripped like 4 pairs of jeans at work.
Okay, but anyway, yeah. So look for that, Brian. Like I said, I'm working on a plan with him to get that he can keep participating with the team and the show. And once he gets things kind of settled down to where he can be on the show in the regular game, he is going to come back. The other staffing shakeup is a little bit more unexpected and really kind of irritating, given how it's kind of treated her, and that's Skyblaze has been having problems with her gallbladder. She needs surgery, and they've kind of jerked her around. I'm not really going to go into all the details, except to say that say what you will about our healthcare system, but at least over here, that thing would have been cut out about 4 months ago. So, we're kind of giving her space to, recover and get this dealt with. And we hope that, the defective component will be removed soon. And, that she'll be able to resume not just her work on the show, but also her life in general. Because, I don't know, Kat, if you've been following her Facebook or her Twitter, but, she has just been miserable for the last several weeks. It really kind of breaks my heart to see.
Yeah, it's been unpleasant to watch. Just because it's heartbreaking every time to be really close to finally feeling better and to have that hope crumbled.
Yeah. So, but so we wish Skyblaze the best, and we'll hope that she'll be able to rejoin us soon. So for the time being, for the next few weeks, it's probably going to be me and Kat running the show. I have put some feelers out for friends of the show who might want to kind of fill in here and there. I know that Mike the Birdman Dodd, who has been a good friend of us in the past, has volunteered to sit in on a few episodes should we need him. Although I'm kind of reluctant to do that, to ask him that, given his own health concerns that he's had. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's been through quite the ringer as well.
Yeah. So, but we nevertheless, we persist as we have always done. We've been in worse situations before and we've always come out the other side, and we will come out the other side of this. And, we're going to keep on trucking, and, we hope that you will keep on trucking with us. So, yeah, that's pretty much the state of the show right now. And let's see, we got about we actually ran a bit short. That actually ran a little bit shorter than I thought it would. So, what do you say we take some Ask a Geek questions?
Sure.
Kind of liven up the mood here now that I've depressed everybody.
Yeah, sorry, guys. We don't usually aim to depress you on our show.
Now that I've depressed everybody with my being on suicide watch for the last 90 days, so let me dig into the mailbag here. I'm just kidding. I haven't been that low. So, everybody put your phones down. I'm fine.
Suicide's not funny. Sorry, guys. It's terrible.
So, anyway, okay, so we got a couple questions here. First one here, this one comes from Ray, and it's addressed to Kat, although I'll probably be fielding an answer on this one because I actually watched this show. And but the question is, Kat, do you watch or read at all Pop Team Epic, and what do you think of it?
Oh my god, no, but every voice actor I follow on Twitter is talking about it, and I really, really need to watch this.
It's strange. That's all I can say, because I do watch it, because I fell in love with it because it's excellent meme bait. I don't know if you've been following my...
If nothing else.
I don't know if you've been following my Facebook at all, Kat, but I've been having a ball making work-related memes out of Pop Team Epic pics.
I've seen some clips, if that helps. I've seen a few clips because of the voice actors who are in it, and I'm like, okay, this looks kind of insane. Well, I do need to watch it.
Well, you know what the show's gimmick is, right?
Not really.
Okay, so each episode, I say with air quotes, is actually only 10 minutes long, and what they do is they show it twice. Once with female voice actors and once with male voice actors, the main characters.
Okay, that I did know.
But here's the thing. With every episode set, it's a different set of voice actors every time. So it's, and every time, the voice actors all have some kind of relationship to each other. So I think for one episode, all of the voice actors who did that episode had worked together on a previous anime. Or, they had all been involved in working with, or they'd all voiced the same type of character or something. So there are people who are actually making it a game to try and guess what the relationship, what all the voice actors for each episode have in common is.
Oh, that's funny. Oh no, that's really clever. I love that.
So I'm guessing that's why it's become the closest analog that I can compare it to is, how Saturday Night Live has a guest host every week? Mm-hmm. Pop Team Epic is becoming the anime equivalent of Saturday Night Live. You get a roll on an episode of that. That's a sign that you've made it, I guess, in some way.
That's funny. That's really, really funny. I really do need to watch this.
Yeah. It's definitely, I will say, and this is coming from someone who doesn't drink at all, it's definitely a much more enjoyable viewing experience if you're a little bit drunk. Because I watched this thing stone cold sober, and there are a few things that I find funny because I've also read the comics. I've read the original 4-Koma comics. There's like a Tumblr that's got like all of them. But as an anime, it's really not something that you can just sit down and binge. It's something that you got to kind of take like, in small doses or when you're really blitzed. It's
like a party anime. You get really...
Yeah, exactly. It's a party anime.
You get drunk with your friends and watch it like on a dare.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that'll be a thing that maybe we'll have you follow it week to week and ask you what you think of each episode.
That might have to happen.
Okay. Next question here. This one comes from Lisa, and it's for all of us. And this is actually a question relating to something that we have been meaning to talk about for a while, but for whatever reason we just never got into it. And that's Stranger Things. She asked if we're fans of the show, and what did we think of the second season?
Oh my God, yes, we are fans of Stranger. Have we never done an episode on Stranger Things, or did we just not do an episode on season 2?
We've never done an episode on Stranger Things. We were going to do one before the holiday because season 2 came out in like November, and we were going to do like an overall thing on seasons 1 and 2 because at the same time season 2 came out, that was when I got into the show. And I did the same thing I did with Doctor Who. I just fell completely in love with it and became kind of obsessed with it. Because I have an addictive personality and I really need to see a counselor about that.
And back to the therapist.
Well, I mean, there's worse things to be addicted to than Stranger Things. But we just never did an episode on it. I think actually the week that we were supposed to do that, that was the week that like you came down with like an uber evil case of laryngitis or something, and we were like, okay, we can't do it without Kat because this is her show.
Yeah, I think that was my second case of pneumonia.
Yeah. So, and I was like, Brian was like, okay, well, let's do the show. And I was like, no, we can't do it without Kat. For no other reason.
You totally could have. It would have been fine. That wouldn't have been better.
Yeah. The axe that you keep in your office, in the case marked, in case they discuss Stranger Things without me, break glass, says otherwise.
Look, I'm not Skyblaze. I don't actually know how to use the weapon.
But anyway, putting the train back on the tracks, yeah. I think we've already established that we're fans of Stranger Things. But what did you think of season 2?
It was really good. I didn't like it as much as season 1, in that I haven't rewatched it 14 times already. It was really good. It got really weird. It was a little frustrating at times, but that was like the magic of having really good characters and a really good story. I couldn't get over that they killed Bob. I'm still hung up on that. Justice for Bob. Hashtag that shit, guys, because I was so mad that they killed him. Because I mean, like, I'm okay with killing characters, even characters that I really like, but it was super obvious that he was going to die, and it was a little miffed that it was that obvious because the first season. Because at
the same time they're trying to make you fall so in love with him. It's like,
well, that's how you know. That's how you know, because if they focus on him for an episode, he's going to die. It's an anime formula. But it was so obvious at that point that he was going to die that I just like resigned myself. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about Stranger Things the first season was that I never once predicted what was going to happen. I was completely off guard every time something occurred. And season 2 fell into a pattern of more. It was a lot more predictable. Not bad in any way, just more predictable.
Well, I think the reason why season 1 was so unpredictable was because it was such a fresh concept. I mean, I'm racking my brain and I can't think of anything in the last 2 decades that resembles Stranger Things even remotely. I mean, we didn't get this kind of story since, oddly enough, the 80s, which, Stranger Things is one big send up to. So I think, when season 2 came around, we kind of knew what kind of tricks the show had up its sleeve. But I just shotgun both seasons, and I gotta say before I say anything else, if these kids don't have just like meteoric careers after this show ends, then I will take that as proof that there is no kind and loving God, because these kids are phenomenal actors and actresses, every one of them.
They are really amazing.
I haven't seen lightning strike like this with child actors since the first few Harry Potter movies. Like, these kids are great. The only character that I have any real issue with, and it's not even an issue with the actress, but more with the script writing. The girl who joins in season 2, who I can't remember her name.
Max.
Max.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Mad Max. Okay, how did I forget that? Yeah. I really feel like that there was a lot more that could be done with her character. I feel like she kind of got the shaft, because I really felt like that she existed in this season just to be the conduit for the asshole to enter the picture. Because, both seasons have had an asshole. The first one, it was the popular good-looking kid, and in the second season, it was Mad Max's brother. And I feel like Max was kind of just used in this season just to be the conduit by which her asshole brother would come into conflict with the rest of the party. But I'm hoping that they do more with her in season 3, because I really wanted to kind of, I want to kind of get to know her more in season 2. I really, I feel like that she is going to fit in really well with the party, and I'd like to see more done with her.
For sure.
So, but yeah, just like I said, the child actors in this show are they're all phenomenal, and I haven't seen talent like this in a long time. And like I said, if they don't have meteoric careers after the show ends and well into adulthood, then that's it. There's just no justice in this world.
A couple of them are already doing pretty well for themselves. So hopefully.
Now, what's something that you'd like to see in season 3?
I don't know. I'd like something good to happen to Hopper, because he's just been like screwed for 2 seasons. Like Dad Hopper in a less terrible situation, or he's not, like Dad Hopper making pancakes for 11. I'd like to see 11 with her mom or aunt more. Like that, doing a little more with that reconnection.
So that was the one episode I didn't like, but that had more to do with Eleven's quote unquote sister than with her mother.
Yeah. I totally agree there. That sidetrack was, I mean, I wouldn't say it was unnecessary, but I would say it wasn't exceptionally well done.
It's on probation. If they manage to make it pay off in season 3, then we will forgive it. But for now, it's in the naughty chair.
Yes, but yeah, some stuff with her mother, maybe to get a little. Maybe if they could like do something to help her mom, would be really great. I'd be really curious to see what the next level monster that they bring in is.
Well, I think they're probably just going to bring back the Mind Flayer again in some way, because that sucker's still there.
Yeah, they could. I mean, there's such a large array of monsters that they could to tackle. Would like maybe more Mind Flayers, or I want a fucking explanation is what I want in the next season of what the other side is and its relationship. Like it's fine not knowing, but I do want an explanation sometime.
You got to give us some breadcrumbs. Like we need fanfic fuel. That's what we need.
Right. Because we are creatures of that want to learn and discover, and for us to not have an answer to that, it kind of holds us back a little bit. Like, I think, because of course the power of the imagination and theories, and that's all fine and good, but eventually I want an explanation, and I want the science side of Tumblr to sit there and figure out how scientifically it could all take place. That's what I want.
I'll tell you what I would like to see happen in season 3, and that's let's give Will a fucking break. Jesus. That kid's gonna have some serious issues at the rate he's going.
No kidding. He needs to like have a nice quiet year where nothing terrible happens to him.
Like there needs to be just here's what you can do if because I'm not going to say if you need a filler episode, because so far the show's proven it doesn't need a filler episode. But if season 3 does need a filler episode, have it just be Will's day, and just have it be a day where like Will is just going about his business, playing video games, going to school, doing his homework, and then maybe like just have like a couple of random moments where like his friends are in the background running around doing something crazy, like running from some monster.
Yes. And then, like, Steve frantically comes up to his adopted son and is just like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And he's just like, "Yeah, everything's fine. What's going on?" "Never mind. Go back to what you were doing," and then runs off after the other kids.
And then the next episode, have us find out what all that business is about.
Or better yet, never find out what all that business was about. No, it makes it seem like there's a monster or something, but really they're just planning his birthday. Wouldn't that be the best?
Oh, that would be great. That would be amazing.
I need this.
So, I don't know. You think we should do a whole Stranger Things episode?
Maybe when another season comes out. It's a little past time now, but
yeah. Well, we tried.
We tried and failed, but nevertheless, we tried.
But you know what is topical and what is timely and what we do need to talk about, and that is our main topic of discussion for this week, and that's Voltron Season 5, which, this is holy shit the season.
It is holy shit the season. What even is this season?
Like, it's not as frantic as previous seasons have been. This is sort of the denouement for the general war against the Galra Empire. But this is also the season where, like, holy shit, a bunch of old threads are getting resolved, and a bunch of new ones are cropping up. That, like, holy shit, where's this going to go? So let's just start from the beginning with, I guess, the big one that we've been waiting to see pay off for a long time, and that's Pidge finally found her dad.
Oh my god. Well, that's not even how it starts, though, because the beginning of the whole season starts with the Voltron team taking advice from Lotor on places and targets.
He's basically the mole. He's feeding them information.
Yes, targets that they can attack, and they go in and they have successfully attacked a bunch of different things that is doing a lot of damage to the Galra and really helping with the this alliance that they have. And they still don't trust Lotor because, good God, he is the shadiest mofo. And it's Lotor trying to prove to them that they need to work together, help each other out, even if it seems like not a good idea. And the Voltron crew doing their best to use Lotor as a means to an end while second-guessing themselves and him all along the way. And this does eventually result in Pidge and Matt reuniting with Commander Holt, Sam, which is just so great. It wasn't as emotional as the moment when Pidge reunited with Matt, though. So I didn't expect it to be because it happened really early. But it was very much needed, because if they had gone one more season without tying up that loose end, I was going to lose my mind.
But I'll tell you what, they did kind of hint that things were going to get that emotional, like when Matt's searching the prison and you get that shot where you see the door open and the camera's just focusing on his face and you just see it fall, and like it cuts back to the ship and you're like, wait, what happened? Like, did he find his father? Is his father dead? Is his father not there? What's going on? I need to know.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as finding Matt's fucking grave, like it wasn't that bad. They did a little red herring here and there, but eventually the payoff finally happened. But what also happened is that Lotor kills Zarkon, which is crazy because Zarkon is the big bad, and I can't, like, when I think about the original Voltron, cartoon that we all grew up on, I can't picture it without Zarkon in it as this big bad, always, behind the scenes on his throne, doing whatever. And for Zarkon not to be in it anymore is a huge step.
Well, we're getting hints that Zarkon may not actually be the puppet master here because this is because Lotor actually brought something up in that whole blood duel, and this is something that I didn't even think about until it was pointed out to me. But like Zarkon himself has been getting like progressively weaker over the course of the show. Like he spent this season and last in like a fucking power suit being fed quintessence, and whereas previously he could fight on his own, and it's like, okay, is he actually dependent on Haggar? Is that what's going on here?
I think so. At that point, he was dependent on maybe Haggar's witchcraft, but I don't think he was necessarily being manipulated by her. In his mind, I think he was just completely dependent on her at that point, though.
See, I don't know, because if you pay attention to what Haggar does over the course of the season, Lotor winds up taking the throne and the Empire is about ready to fall. It looks like she just doesn't give a fuck. She's like, look, let's get out of here. This scene is not our party anymore.
That's actually not how I took it at all, because she remembers now that Lotor is her son, and I think she's actually been trying to protect him. That's how I interpret it anyway, that she was trying to keep him off the throne because so many people would try to kill him if he took the throne. And because he's a half-breed, he would never be truly accepted, and it was just too much of a risk. And she did some stuff. What was the point where she told some dudes to initiate some operation, and then
that was actually just after the coin finally dropped for her that Lotor was her son.
Yeah, and so I think she's actually trying to protect him by maneuvering his old minions around and trying to find other people to prop up as her puppet so that he can perhaps maybe fly more under the radar and be kept out of harm's way.
So, but speaking of Lotor, now we finally know what his endgame for the 3 seasons had been. And I was really struck by, I did not expect him to be the kind of guy like trying to sue for peace and change the empire from within. So I'm still kind of like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop with him, because like his whole shtick this whole season is like, we need to work together. We can reforge the Galra Empire into something peaceful that will bring prosperity for all. I'm not interested in conquest. I'm just interested in getting the quintessence in a peaceful manner. And he seems kind of sincere. But then I think back to like, well, hold on. He's also done some shady shit in seasons 2 and 3. So is he really on the up and up here, or is he holding up a velvet glove with one hand but hiding a fist behind his back? What's going on here?
Oh, it's so hard to tell. It's actually really maddening. It was one of my most frustrating things about this season, but not in a bad way by any means, because everybody who watched the cartoon as a kid knows Lotor as a villain. And for us to not have a clear grasp if he is being a villain or if he is on a villain's journey is really, really frustrating, because I can't tell. I can't get a read on him to tell if he is trying to manipulate everybody so that he can get what he wants and then turn on them and go back to the Galra with all of this really cool Altean whatever, or if he is genuine and sincere in what he's talking about, and it's just a matter of time before something corrupts him.
Which, it may be Haggar. But like I said, it's so maddening because it seems like he's on the up and up, and on the other hand, like everything we know about him before just screams, no, this guy's not a good dude.
Right.
Recall the moment where he got booted out of I can't remember the name. What was the name of that Elysium place that they found where they had to do the whole thing with the white lion?
Oriandi? Or Oleand?
Onderon, I don't know. The Promised Land, we'll just call it that. But there's this whole shtick where it's a test of character, where both Allura and Lotor are being attacked by this white lion in these separate tests. And Allura just kind of surrenders herself to it. And so she's proven worthy, whereas Lotor lashes out and fights, and he winds up getting kicked out. And you hear him when he figures out what's going on, he is pissed. Like, this is not what he expected to happen.
Right.
And I'm like, but then like you see him back on the ship, and he's just like all kind of, what happened. It was meant for you, not for me. But I'm just like, yeah, that's not the impression I got with your little shit fit down there.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that big of a shit fit. It wasn't that bad. He wasn't overly violent. He wasn't having a hissy or anything like that. He was just upset. But that is where the point where I genuinely started to question whether or not he was hiding something or whether or not he was on his path to becoming a villain. Because maybe he has been sincere all of this time and he really does want things to go back to peace. And he's just, because of the way he was raised, he was willing to do some shady shit to get there. But he really is genuine. And maybe that was the turning point for him, where he could, at this point be racked with jealousy, that Allura passed the test, but he didn't. So now he's full of the recognition of his failing, that he couldn't achieve his dream, and the jealousy of Allura passing the test and everything. I could really see this. If he isn't already a villain, this is the turning point where he kind of becomes one.
Well, we'll have to see. Because like I said, I don't know. He's one of the coins that's still in the air. So along with another coin that I kind of almost forgot that was still up in the air because it got fuck all done with it last season, and that's we finally got some information about Keith and his ancestry.
Yes, oh my god, that was another thing where if they in this season, I was going to lose my mind.
And they decided to do it in, of all places, the comedy filler episode.
The worst possible time and place.
Okay, for context, the episode before the second to last episode of this season, they're on the Galra base. Lotor's just taken over the throne. This is the episode that comes after some really heavy shit has happened. So it's like you need kind of a comedy filler episode to just kind of bring everything down. So the main spine of the episode is Pidge, Hunk, and Lance reprogram his sentry bot to have fun.
Which I thought I was going to hate because I hate their film bad, but it was so funny.
So, that's the main spine of this episode. And then there's just this little subplot about Keith going on a mission for, the Galra assassins to rescue an operative. And then in literally the last seconds of the episode, the Galra woman that he's rescuing just drops a bomb. Oh, by the way, I'm your mother. I'm like, what?
It was so well done, though. It was exactly what I needed. It was just, it wasn't that much of a bombshell if you just looked at her hair and you're like, that's Keith hair.
I didn't catch that. I have to go back and look at it now.
I already knew what was going to happen that episode because I'd read spoilers in case I didn't get to actually finish the episode before we recorded. Because I was on vacation and then I came back and then had to shotgun it really quick before we recorded. So I had read the spoiler that, it turns out this person is his mom. And I looked at her, I'm like, oh yeah, that's her. Look at that hair. That's her. But it was so well done for him to just, meet some random Galra on a mission. And for her to be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's not do this. I'm not putting you in any danger. I lost you once. I'm not doing it again. And he's, what the fuck? And then he sees his blade of Marmora react to her, which can only, it's supposed to be bonded to your blood, basically. And he's like, why did that happen? Why did it react to you? And she's like, well, it used to be mine before I gave it to your father. And he's like, you're my what? Oh my god! So
and then a Soprano style smash to black. That's all we get.
So good, so good. I'm really looking forward to that being part of the plot of the next season. Is a little more exploration of that. At least some mother-son bonding moments because he's never had one before. So they got to go do something together to have some bonding and stuff. At least answer some questions about. I need to understand the biology of how Keith exists. I don't need to see it. I just need to understand it.
I was about to say, if you want to understand the biology, I'm sure Rule 34 could
Oh, I know.
that quite easily.
There's something somewhere I could go read, but I don't want to. I just want just a basic explanation of how. Because that is a big woman. I'm just saying, Galra are really tall. And I'm not saying it's not physically possible, but there's anyway, getting off that topic. Let's just go talk about something else now.
I'll tell you something that made me really happy, and this has been people who've been following our Voltron episodes know this has been a huge ass bugbear for me this whole show since season 2. But someone finally remembered that Earth is still there, yes! And people are kind of wondering where their lost family members are. Like, I remember at the end of the first episode, Pidge's father was like, "Oh, I can't wait to tell your mother when I get back to Earth." And they're like, "Yeah, we kind of can't go back." And I was like, "Oh, well, I need to go back." And I was like, "Yes!" People remember that Earth is still a thing. And he's like, "Oh, I need to go back and tell the Galaxy Garrison what's going on so we can prepare defense." And I'm like, "Yes!"
That is such a relief, because we've talked about this before, of course, but I don't see any version of this going down without them eventually ending up back on Earth. Like, I think at some point in time they just have to.
And like we got
for the sake of a good story.
And it wasn't just like one throwaway thing. There's like little snippets of it here and there, like when they're sending Commander Holt off. And I think it's like the second to last episode, and Hunk hands them a bunch of messages that the Paladins have written to their families. And you see Lance get all teary-eyed. I'm like, yes, finally. We're seeing some homesickness.
And I like it because it is actually a little throwback.
It
is humanizing, and it's a throwback to how Lance, of all of the pilots, is actually the most homesick throughout the show. And part of it is because he's got this huge Cuban family that, he's always had around. And it's always nice when they do throw back to, them missing home and him wanting to be back with his family. I think it's really sweet and endearing because Lance is the butt of so many jokes, but sometimes he's just the best. And he was the best a lot in this season. He was, Pidge was a little sometimes because of the dad drama, and Shiro is something that we need to talk about, and Keith was barely in it, and Hunk is barely in it, and Lance, I thought, really shined this season.
Yeah, this was if any character aside from Lotor and Allura got time in the spotlight, it was Lance. And I really think if assuming Lotor keeps going down the hero path he's on, I see a love triangle kind of developing between Allura, Lance, and Lotor, because I don't know, I kind of got some kind of lovey-dovey vibes, some sparks going between Allura and Lotor, but also there was a neat little scene between Allura and Lance that kind of made you think, there might be a little something in there too. The scene where she teaches him how to use an Altean broadsword by knocking him on his ass.
Yes, that was a great scene, and he's always, they have throughout a couple of seasons, they've had some private moments where he's said the right thing. Like he knows what to say when the shit hits the fan, he doesn't always have to be the Joker or anything like that. And for him to have unlocked another form for his Bayard, and he had some really outstanding moments and fights. And you're just like, man, he's really good this season. And I thought that was a nice a supplement to Shiro's lack of leadership this season, which is a whole something we can talk about, all the stuff going down with Shiro. For Lance to kind of do a little bit of picking up the slack and being a morale booster and just overall being a really good character this season.
You know what I think they're gearing up Lance for? I think that if something happens to remove Shiro from the Black Lion, I'm thinking they're grooming Lance to be the next leader.
I wouldn't have thought that before, but then that episode where they were in the mind space of Voltron or whatever, trying to all commune together to escape that whatever they were trying to escape, and Shiro is like trying to yell out to Lance, and then he doesn't remember it afterwards. And Lance is like, "What were you trying to talk to me about?" And Lance has no memory of it.
See, the moment that got me thinking it was when they're all snared up in the vines and Lance does a falcon punch and kills the Robies. That's literally what he does. Like, he does this epic, like, wind up and throws this Falcon Punch right hook at it, and the thing just disintegrates.
Yes. So they could be grooming Lance for leadership. I don't think they will, per se, because he's still too much of a doofus. And I think he would maybe have to go through some stuff first, some not so pleasant emotional stuff, before he'd be prepared.
Don't do that to Lance. Let Lance be happy.
Yes. Because, like, he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders when the time is right,
Yeah. So, but yeah, Shiro, that's the thing that really irritated me. If we don't see some kind of payoff, what the hell's going on with him next season, I will just, like, shit myself inside out. Now, we do get some hints as to what's going on, because I think it's pretty clear that he's acting as an unwitting pair of eyes for Haggar, because you'll notice that every time she is spying through the orb of mystery to spy on Lotor, it's a scene that Shiro is present for. So I'm thinking that she's, like, looking through Shiro's eyes and seeing what the hell's going on.
At minimum, that's what's happening. At the very minimum, she is, like, basically spying on Voltron through his eyes. But she might just straight up be controlling him, to the benefit of Lotor. Because she doesn't have Zarkon anymore. So she doesn't have someone to keep on a throne. So if whatever she's trying to do, whether it's to put Zarkon on the throne or whatever, or put Lotor on the throne or keep him off the throne, whatever, I really genuinely think she is using Shiro to Lotor's benefit. And part of that is because he's been blacking out and doesn't remember stuff and just feels generally weird. Yeah, I think he's being controlled.
That may be, because, like, you'll notice that, like, when they were discussing about going to the coronation ceremony, the light the torch thing, which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head. Like, he was like, it was like a berserk button for him. It was like, no, we're going there, and I'll kick the shit out of anybody who says otherwise. Like, I seriously thought that scene where he started shouting at Lance, I thought he was going to get froggy with him.
Yeah, the fact that he is doing things behind their backs is really uncharacteristic of Shiro, even at his worst. That is uncharacteristic of Shiro, because Shiro is the we have to work together for Voltron kind of character, and he would never, like, betray his friends twice like that. Wants to give Lotor a Bayard so that Lotor could basically mount his own escape, and then bring Lotor to the coronation so that Lotor could get into the fray and take out the competition. And there's definitely something going on with him directly related to Haggar. How much she is or is not controlling is up for speculation, but I feel like he spent most of the season being controlled.
Well, I mean, we've known since the start of season 3, that there was something up with him.
Yes.
But, like, this is the first time we're getting any real overt hints as to what that might be. So, that the Bayard was a surprise. I actually had completely forgotten that they had the Black Bayard because it was in it was in Zarkon's possession for the longest time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think he had ended up with it. But I don't remember for how long. I wasn't entirely surprised that they had given Lotor a weapon to help him escape. I was surprised that it was the Bayard and that it was Shiro who had,
and that Lotor could actually use it. So yes. Now the question becomes: Is paladin status something that, in addition to being chosen for, it can also be inherited by blood?
Maybe.
So, do you think maybe if Lotor is actually on the up and up for his hero's path, that maybe he might be joining the Voltron team as a paladin in the future?
You know what? At the beginning of the show, I never would have thought that, but it would actually be incredible because they are really breaking from other incarnations of Voltron that they've done this version of Voltron is very, very different, very modern, I guess. And if
that's kind of what attracted us to it, was how different it was from the original show. Because I don't know if you've seen the original show lately, listeners, but it hasn't aged well.
No, not even Goliath aged well. And I still have a little bit of loyalty to Goliath. So it would be a really fascinating take on Lotor to put him in Voltron, especially if shit goes down with Shiro and Shiro can't pilot the Black Lion anymore because he's too compromised. Then, well, like, yeah, maybe the Black Lion would respond to Lotor, and
maybe they'll move Lance into the Black Lion, take over the Red Lion.
Either way would be really interesting. And again, if Lotor is currently on a hero's journey, but on a path, a grander, wider, distant path to a villain's journey, it would also be really interesting to put him in Voltron. To get him friends with everybody before he inevitably betrays them. Because they still don't trust him now. They're running around his palace demolishing his robots, but they still don't trust him, except for Allura.
I think that if they put him into Voltron as part of a villain's journey, I think that if they're going that route, that what they're going to do is they're going to move Lance into the Black Lion and put Lotor in the Red Lion, and that's going to rankle with him, because remember his whole shtick when he came in to list the reasons why he should take the throne was he was like, I've brought back the Black Lion to the Galra people. So I kind of get the sense that if he was going to become a paladin, he would want very much to be the Black Paladin. And because we've already kind of seen with the travel to the Promised Land place when he got proved not worthy, that, you know, he doesn't take it all that well. He may have noble intentions, but he kind of wants them to go his way, and he doesn't take it all that well when they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that if they made Lance the pilot of the Black Lion and made Lotor the Red Lion, that would cause some conflict between him and Lance, and maybe stir some resentment. It's like, well, you know, my father was the Black Paladin, I should be the Black Paladin, you know, it's my birthright, and fuck you for taking it from me.
I think it would actually be really great if he did take the Black Lion, because it would be, if he does, it is that much more indicative of a villain, because that's what his father did. And that's a level of overtness that we could expect from Voltron. And if Lotor took the Red Lion, I think the Red Lion is too cantankerous. It's a little feisty. And it might be a little too feisty for him. I don't know.
It might also be getting a little resentful of being passed from one hand to the other. Because if Lotor takes the Red Lion, that's its third paladin in as many seasons.
Right.
It's like, look, make up your damn minds. I'm not the village bicycle. I'm an ancient holy weapon of salvation, destruction, not, you know, a bike to be passed around.
Correct. But also, and we can maybe just of him taking one of the lions, is that whoever is the Black Lion is the leader. So it's only going to pick somebody who it thinks is going to be a good leader. And
here's an idea. What if both Lance and Lotor can get the Black Lion to respond to it?
That would be really cool. But the whole thing about Voltron is that, okay, but now Lotor is the emperor of the Galra Empire, and he's a little busy, or he should be a little busy. You know, like trying to get all of this peace brought to the Empire, and restore order, and maybe return systems to their rightful owners and stuff. So he should be too busy to even contemplate being part of the Voltron crew. Technically. He's not too busy to go on a field trip to... But as he said, that's like kind of his dream, which has now been crushed.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to chalk that up to things that we'd like to see in season 6. So I guess that's since we're running kind of short on time here, that's how we'll wrap things up. So how would you like to see things go down in season 6? What is something you'd like to see?
My main goal for the next season would be to find out if Lotor is a villain or not. Not already a villain in disguise, then maybe I don't want to see him on his villain's journey, but I get the feeling we will, one way or the other.
You don't want to see him on a villain's journey, but you want to know whether or not you want to steel yourself appropriately.
Yes, exactly. I'd like to see a little more character development from Hunk, because Hunk is just sort of generally left in the background, and it's kind of sad that he hasn't really had a shining moment in quite some time. And now that Keith has kind of had a bit of his journey concluded, and Pidge has had her journey concluded, I think it's kind of time for Hunk to shine a little bit. I want to find out what the hell is up with Shiro. And hopefully whatever influence does have over Shiro, let's just fucking end that right now. And you know what? It wouldn't even be that hard, I think, because Allura just got a major upgrade with Altean Alchemy. So hopefully she'll just be able to do whatever and free Shiro of any influence, and then maybe we won't even have to talk about anybody taking the Black Line.
Speaking of Altean Alchemy, I have to mention this. I was watching this with a buddy of mine. And when they did that whole thing where they were crossing over between worlds and talking about how Altean alchemy works, my buddy turned to me and he's like, you watch. They're going to find a severed right arm and a left leg with notes attached. If found, please return to Edward Elric.
Oh my god. Well, Shiro already lost an arm. So...
Not to alchemy, though. So, but,
correct.
But yeah, we definitely need to find out what the fuck is going on with Shiro, because that's been going on for about 3 seasons, and I'm kind of I need to see some payoff. I'll tell you what else I'll tell you what else I will lose it if I don't see it in the next season. I want to we have no excuse now. We have to go back to Earth in some fashion. We have to see what the hell's going on. I want Commander Holt's thread to be followed up on. I want to see what the Galaxy Garrison is doing to prepare for what the fuck is going on, because like you said, I mean, it's inevitable. This is going to go to Earth at some point.
Yeah. I'd really like an explanation of what happened to the Blue Lion pilot who had been on Earth. If they could, while Commander Holt is back on Earth and preparing the Earth's defenses. I expect a large leap of technology while Commander Holt has brought back all of this information.
You know what I think they're going to do? I think they're going to tie in Holt's thread. If they do go back to Earth, I think they're going to tie, and they do explore how the Blue Line got to Earth. I think they're going to tie that in with Keith's family thing. Maybe the pilot of the Blue Line was hunting Keith's mother and followed her to Earth, and that's where the Blue Lion pilot met his demise.
I was kind of thinking maybe perhaps the other way around. What was her name?
Did we ever get one?
Yeah, something with a K. Koliva or Kolia? Whatever her... Keith's mom was perhaps a normal Galra soldier who was sent after the Blue Lion to try and retrieve it for Zarkon, and then fell in love while on Earth.
Okay, that's an interesting idea. Maybe they'll go that route.
And then she just went back to the Empire, going, "Nah, there's nothing in that whole galaxy. Let's look somewhere else."
It's just knuckle dragging apes, the lot of them. Let's just not even go near that planet anymore.
I really, really, in the next season, hope they explain, because it's implied from previous seasons that the quintessence is what kept Zarkon and Haggar alive for, a really, really long time, but we didn't hear much about why Lotor has been alive for so long and not corrupted by the quintessence. So I'd like an explanation of fucking Lotor's age.
Because he outright says that he's been alive for centuries, so it's clear he's no spring chicken.
Right, and then his dad hates him, so his dad wouldn't let him near all this quintessence. He hasn't been corrupted by it. What the hell? Inconsistent.
So yeah, but yeah, we definitely got to find out what the hell's going on with Keith. I'd like to see some more of what's going on with the wider galaxy, because we kind of spent, as far as with the Coalition, we kind of spent on that one planet that got attacked by the plant beast. So I'd kind of like to see kind of the wider Coalition universe and see what's going on there, and also, you know, that get reintroduced to that one scientist who calculates probabilities of alternate universes and speaks in a Russian accent. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, whatever that guy was.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is.
I just had a thought. Okay, so Allura is going to learn the secrets of Altean alchemy, made Voltron. Maybe Lotor is straight up villain and is going to have her create a new Voltron that he can use for evil.
Oh, and it would be Vehicle Force Voltron. You see the can of worms that you've opened?
I'm just saying, I'm trying to think, and he's got, there's him and his 3 lady minions and like one more person, and he can form Dark Voltron.
Well, remember, if you'll recall, in our last Voltron, we actually theorized that that's what he was doing, because he built those special ships.
Right. And then that sort of like went to nowhere, and now I'm thinking about it again. I'm like, yeah, this is conceivable.
So maybe that's what he's going to, is building his own Voltron. So we'll see. All right,
manipulating Allura into doing it.
Oh boy, that ain't.
And I totally think he's going to be maybe in love with her. That was his shtick in the original cartoon, and she definitely did not reciprocate. But I could see him, you know, eventually, if he does go down the villain path, you know, having this Dark Voltron, thinking of Allura as his own, because they have this bond over their Altean heritage, and like him getting obsessive over her, like in the original. Could be interesting.
Well, we'll have to see. But anyway, that's about all the time that we have for Nerd of the Third Power this week. So, do we know when season 6 is supposed to come out? Have they even announced it?
June.
Wow. Okay, this summer. So, wow, Netflix has been giving us a lot of presents this summer, because that's about the same time that season 2 of Castlevania is going to be out. Yes, I'm so excited for that. But anyway, yes. But yeah, like I said, we've kind of run out of time, so that's about all the time they have for Nerd of the Third Power this week. We will see you guys next week. Thank you as always for tuning in. As always, I'm Dr. Gonzo.
I'm the Cat.
We'll see you next week. Taka, play us out.